Hey, and how's it going on this Tuesday? It's April 14th, and this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. Now, today we're going to get some coronavirus updates, why this virus isn't stopping anytime soon, and a message of transparency and wisdom. So, how are you guys doing today? It is a wonderful Tuesday, and I know that all of you are looking forward to another wonderful day with the Lord, and that's why we're here to get through this time together. Also, remember, tonight is Lockdown Tuesday, so we'll have a live Bible story at 8 p.m. Malaysia time, and today's topic is, What's in Your Garden? Now, today's featured artist of the day, first time on the Morning Star Drive, one of our favorite singers of all time, it's Pastor Joan. Yay! Now, she has many names such as Cheetah and the Restored Eve, but we all know her as Pastor Joan, and I hope that all of us here, we know that when we hear her voice, we feel like the Holy Spirit coming into our hearts. So I hope that you enjoyed this first song. The first song is called I Love You, I Love You. And the second song is from Mariah Henry. From her album At the Start, it is the song At the Start. So everyone, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the music.
Take you where you wanna go. You gotta really show him that you want it though. He can show you where you wanna be. You gotta put in words that'll be unseen. Look, and it's just like that. Take it to the golden city just with a snap. You don't even got a trip, no, we got your back. All you gotta do is sit back and relax. There's this love between you and I that is so strong. I don't wanna ever lose it, then I'll be alone. But If I leave his arms a wonder, I'll be sitting all alone just to ponder. Make up your mind and act as you should. I'ma show you we can be the greatest duo that ever stood. Living with the Lord every day is like my paradise. If you leave your worries and concerns to him, you'll be alright.
Really wanna live with happiness and hope. You gotta live with the one you love the most. And don't forget that even on darkest roads, just find the Lord and grab your heart. Control your deeds. A pretty paradise right from the start.
Paradise.
All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise.
The weather's fine, the temperature's cool. 7 on earth, cause I'm with you. Ain't nothing better when we live forever. When we make us to be one true love. Birds of a feather flock together. And it's just like that. Give you my love, cause I don't hold back. Call me your love, cause I know you got stacks. This love is real, cause we got it like that. Sandy walks on the beach, summertime. Feel the heat, that's a love paradise. Holding hands, cool breeze, cloud 9. Make heaven together with you and I. Sandy walks on the beach, summertime. Feel the heat, that's a love paradise. Holding hands, cool breeze, cloud 9. Make heaven together with you and I.
Really wanna live with happiness and hope. You gotta live with the one you love the most. And don't forget that even on darkest roads, just find the Lord and grab your heart. Control your deeds. A pretty paradise right from the start.
Paradise.
All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise.
He can take you where you wanna go. 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 He can show you what you wanna know. He can show you what you wanna know. I have realized I'm not alone, because living with you is like my paradise.
All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. All the night brings darkness. You're like the sun, yeah, you always shine so bright. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise. Together we're the greatest. Just like the moon and the stars, we light the night. And I can't wait to see you, cause you are my only paradise.
And that was Mariah Henry featuring the Sumney Boys, and that song was At the Start. And of course, the first song from our beloved Pastor Joan, and that song was 사랑해, 사랑해, or it means I love you, I love you. So that brings us to the coronavirus updates, and just every day there's more and more things that we need to discuss, because just things are constantly developing all the time. Things look good and they don't look good and they look good again. Right now, at the moment, we're just closing in on 2 million cases in the world. It's about almost 1.9 million cases at the moment, and about a little bit over 115,000 deaths. The U.S. is, of course, accounting for the majority of it, because over 500,000 cases are from the United States, 560,000 with 22,000 deaths. Spain has the second most cases with 170,000, but they don't have the second most deaths. They only have 17,500. And of course, second place goes to Italy. Even though they only have 156,000 cases, they have over about 20,000 deaths at the moment. France is at 132,000 and 14,000 deaths. And of course, the UK, it's just getting more and more dangerous over there. It's 84,000 cases with 10,600 deaths. If we were to contrast them to the countries that are doing really well, we know Germany, 130,000 deaths with just a little over 3,000 deaths, right? 130,000 cases, 3,000 deaths, right? Opposed to France is 132,000, so almost the same in cases, and 14,000, which is about close to, it's like more than 4 times more than Germany. Korea's 10,500 cases, but they only have 217 deaths. And of course, the ever resilient Taiwan is at 393 cases, which means they're almost hitting 400, which is ridiculous. It's just amazing what they're doing. And they only have 6 deaths. The 3 countries got to really watch out for, and we're going to talk about 2 of them today. The first is Russia. Russia's just moving up really quickly. I believe they're one of the fastest growing in cases. They have like 18,000 cases at the moment with 148 deaths. And to be honest, because we know that Russia and China are very close and they're communist countries, or Russia is very close to one. The information we're getting from Russia, it can't really be trusted either. So we're just going to say that it's 18,148 deaths, but we probably know that it's way more than that. The 2 countries we're going to talk about today is going to be India and Pakistan. Now, India is growing really fast too. And, that country's got like 1.37 billion people. Okay, and right now, just at the moment, they're at like 9,200 cases, yet they have 331 deaths. While Pakistan is at 5,300 cases with 93 deaths. Now I'm going to tell you, the topic we're talking about today is why it's not stopping anytime soon. Because there are a lot of major countries that it hasn't hit yet. India is 1.37 billion, and Pakistan's like 220 million. I'm going to just tell you the situation that's going on right now. About a little bit over a week ago, there was an announcement from the government, and it's basically the largest shutdown in world history, where all 1.37 billion people were told to stay home for 21 days. Okay, so we're not even talking about a rich country here, but everyone's staying in. They're enforcing a lockdown. It's a super dense population, very difficult to control. They're shutting the borders. Stores are closing down. There's lineups for groceries. There are home shelters being made. Why? Because a lot of these people, when they find out it's going to be 21 days, like millions of people are heading home. They're hitting the streets and they need to get home. And this is really affecting people who are living off daily wages, the people who are laborers who are just really struggling. And these are the people that are kind of living off the margin, right? They're just barely living with what they're getting each and every day. And right now they're being supported like 2 pieces of bread a day. So, you got to understand, it's not very easy to take care of this many people. They did put in, I believe the government officially, put in some money to compensate so that people can be fed and they'll have a place to stay and they're not going to be starving. But it's 1.37 billion people. Like, you put in $2 billion, that's like, it's like $1 something per person, right? And if you look at kind of the stats of India, it's really difficult because they have 1 doctor for every 11,600 people. So we know that if the medical system, the healthcare system gets overwhelmed, it's going to be in a very bad situation. It's 1 doctor per 11,600 people, and there's 1 isolation bed per 84,000 people. And at the moment, they say they only have 40,000 ventilators, and we think that's a big number. It's a big number for a small country, but this is a country that is, well, if you compare it to the United States, it's 4 times larger than the United States. And the United States has more ventilators. They only have 40,000 ventilators for 1.37 billion people. And they say at the current rate, it's possible that at least 1 million people will contract the coronavirus by May. And May is 2 weeks away. So India is a place that we need to watch because it's a poor country, and there's a lot of people that you just can't obey the MCO orders. Right? I was watching some footage, and sometimes the police were like even beating people, but they still, there's still people out there. Now, Pakistan's another story, and this is a little bit more scarier. Even though there's less people, it's only 220 million people. Well, not only, it's 220 million people. Big problems there is they lack testing and tracking. There's no lockdown at the moment. And this is the craziest part. About 3 weeks ago, they had an event. Like they call it the Tablighi Jamaat Islamic movement, okay? And this Islamic movement is a movement that is based on like congregational prayer, intimately living together, well, not intimately, but like intimate living, like close quarters, and travel. And what they had 3 weeks ago, like I thought it was bad here in Malaysia because Malaysia had that big event that's something like 16,000 people that came together to pray. And that's like the major source. Like over half the cases and deaths are coming from that one meeting they had like a month ago, right? Pakistan just had a meeting 3 weeks ago. You know how many people gathered for this prayer? 250,000 people gathered in the same place. Okay? 250,000 people, Muslims gathered together for this prayer meeting. And these are Muslims from all over the world that gathered for this 5-day event. And the interesting stat was there were some, at the end of the event, there's still some people camping outside. And what they did was they tested 35 people who were camped outside. Like, after this whole event, there's still people still outside camping. They gathered 35 of them, tested them, and of the 35, 27 of them were positive for the coronavirus. So now the government's asking people, come on, you guys got to get tested. So because of this, there's like governments talking to clerics of mosques and telling them, hey, come on, guys, we have to fight this disease together. And they want to stop these huge congregational prayers, but it looks like at the moment in the news it's saying that just many places are just defying those orders. And one thing that, these people have good intentions, but the thing is, it's hard for them to believe that, like, going to a mosque, a place of prayer, which is a source of good, morally and spiritually, can become a source of death. You know what I mean? It's like almost like you kind of feel that invincibility because you're at church, so nothing can harm you kind of thing, right? But it's kind of what their thoughts are. And like I was watching some of the interviews and they're like, how dare they close down the mosques? They can't close down these mosques. It should be up to the people. Leave them open, and the people want to go, they should go. And even from a week ago, they still kept the Friday prayers in Pakistan. Like, even though the clerics were asking for prayer groups of only 5 people or less, like, people aren't listening. And they're asking, like, why is it so hard for the government to step in? Is because the religious values are so wrapped up in the identity of the state. So it's really hard for the government to touch on the desires of the people. So think about this. There's 220 million people, and basically they said in Pakistan, the healthcare system is not ready for an epidemic. Like, for instance, like if you look at Germany, Germany's got a really good system, and they're at 4 doctors per 1,000 people. The U.S. is not bad with 3 doctors per 1,000 people. Pakistan is less than 1 per 1,000 people. And I was watching some of they were showing some of the clerics speaking inside the mosques, and they were kind of telling people, don't worry, just pray, don't worry about it. And some of them were like, the audacity was, I guarantee that this is what the translation when it says, if one person gets infected, you could take me outside and hang me. Yeah, like that's how serious it is. And so we have to watch out for what's happening in Pakistan and India and the areas around there, because it's just starting. They're just beginning over there, and that's why I was saying that the coronavirus isn't stopping anytime soon. It might stop in Europe soon. It might stop in the U.S. a little bit later. But it's just starting in like Africa and India and Pakistan. And they're having a hard time believing that this is really a disease that they can catch inside of a mosque. And you might think it's kind of crazy, like, oh my gosh, what are these Muslims doing? But it's not any different in the U.S. because like in the U.S., Christians are doing it too. Just recently, a week ago in Georgia, right, in the state of Georgia, there was a church pastor that was arrested because he kept having packed services, and he ignored the social distancing rules, and he got arrested. The cops came out and said this guy is like not caring about the health of the public. And also in Louisiana, churches are still going, they're still gathering, and they even had like some parade last week. They just kind of like impromptu parade with these musicians, and this is even though the governor of Georgia said, no, please don't gather. No more mass gatherings. But, it's not, like, this type of thinking is not just like, oh my gosh, is this a Muslim thing? No, like, Christians are doing it too. That even the pastors are getting arrested for saying, hey, don't worry about it. It's not that bad. We're they're like telling people to keep coming to church, and people are going to listen to these pastors thinking that they're invincible because God is going to protect them. Like if you think about it, even us in Providence, we were one of the first ones to do online services to not even go to church. And we're going to keep doing it until the end of June, regardless of what anyone else does, because we want to make sure that it's all safe. You think about it. Like at the time of, think about the time of the Roman persecution, when they were killing Christians. Christians weren't saying like, God will protect us, so we're just going to have service outside. No, they had to hide and go into the catacombs, right? They couldn't just go out in the open. It's crazy when you think about it. Like even in the Bible, they had to change things and how they did it because of the circumstance and the situation. And that's why I really, really, I love Providence and I respect it so much, because like we know the situation, we know the problem, and we'll handle it, and we'll go according to the situation circumstance. So, I hope that kind of gives us a better idea of, just some of the things that are going on in the world with this coronavirus, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. But that's going to bring us over to the time of praise, because we need to praise. We do need to praise, right? So I know that we can all praise together. I got 2 songs lined up for you. One is a request from Aaron Aubrey. He's in Japan at the moment, and he wanted to hear the song I Have Seen. And this is a great song. If you guys hear the lyrics to the song, it's so good. I Have Seen. And the second song we're going to hear, something that Sunstream talks about all the time. And what is it? It's about remembering is life. If you're having a hard time, you got to remember the past, how God saved us before, and He'll save us again. So let's all sit back and praise God together.
I'm a witness to the truth. This I testify. There's no one else around who's seen as much as I have seen the way He loves, all His heart offering, and I promised I would tell the world these things. He keeps His word until the end, so listen to Him speak. You won't be disappointed, for His words and actions meet. I can't help but cry out to those with veiled eyes. I'll cry out forever, for I have realized I have seen what the kings of old longed to see. With my own eyes, I've seen the tears shed for history. Here I stand, let my life be the proof. For as long as I have breath left in me, I will sing of all the things that I have seen. Now tell me, have you heard Him sing all through the night, lifting up His voice to God more than 100 times? If you say that's impossible, then I'll ask, have you tried? 'Cause I know that's how He's always lived His life. Whenever I was lacking strength, He spoke and I could breathe. That's the kind of fire that His life has given me. Although others try to shout out, they can make truth from lies, I will shout the loudest, for I've realized I have seen what the kings of old long to see. With my own eyes, I've seen the tears shed for history. Here I stand, let my life be the proof. as long as I have breath left in me, I will sing of all the things that I have seen. I will sing of all the things that I have what the sages once yet to see. Until I die, I will run making history. Here I stand, I cannot be moved. For as long as I have breath left in me, for as long as I have strength left in me, for as long as I have a voice to speak, I will sing of all the things that I have seen.
Something that you forgot can't be found, although it's right next to you. And something that you didn't see can't be found, although it's within your domain. Therefore your thoughts and your memories are alive. You must remember and think. To succeed in life, give your strength and your whole heart. Act on your thoughts and memories every day. Don't forget your first thoughts or your first memories. If you forget, you will die. And your first fiery love, never lose it or forget it. Although I'm next to you, if you forget and don't call my name, I cannot connect with you. You don't know, though I call. You're unaware when the Lord and the Spirit call. So you must always call first. Let your spirit call. Focus your thoughts, focus your heart. Take action and converse, always full of love. Don't forget to walk with the Spirit and with the Lord. If you forget, you will die. And your first fiery love, never lose it or forget it. first as your first memories. If you forget, you will die. And your first fiery love, never lose it or forget it. Don't forget to walk with the Spirit and with the Lord. If you forget, you will die. And your first fiery love, never lose it or forget it. And your first fiery love, never lose it or forget it.
And that was Remembering is Life. And that first song, of course, was requested from Aaron Aubrey in Japan. And that song was I Have Seen. So that brings us to kind of the word study section, or this kind of about this life section that I wanted to talk about with everyone here. And it's about transparency, because it's something that we talked about the other day, and also during the coronavirus. When there's not enough transparency, the people in the country tend to distrust their government. For instance, the example we gave was China. Even though China said there's enough food, the moment the government said it, everyone rushed to the grocery stores just to buy as much food as they can. And it's because there's not enough trust. And there's a couple things I want to talk about today, especially, and this is kind of a discussion I've been having with just several friends and people, because it's an important subject that we all need to understand, that we all should be thinking about. And, you know, for myself, because I've been in a leadership position before, I kind of know like where the mindset of where the leaders come from. And everyone needs to know this first thing is, regardless of, there's leaders and there's members, in the end, both sides, no one is going in with intent to harm, or no one's trying to be malicious and try to hurt each other. That's the first thing we really have to recognize, because if we don't recognize this, then it's really hard to understand each other. So the part I want to talk about today is how much should we protect each other? Well, this sounds kind of weird, right? But I want to not so much about protect. I want to talk about overprotection. Overprotection. Okay, so it's like this week's message. This is something that requires wisdom. We need to pray and ask for wisdom, just like Solomon did. And the wisdom of God is to find out what is best in God's eyes and not our own. So as myself, I've been a leader. I was leading a church in New York, and I've seen many situations before. And as a leader, sometimes I wonder like how much I need to protect the members. Like, how much should I protect them from this, and so they don't see these issues and those problems, or something that everyone deals with, like slander issues. Oh no, the newcomer. Oh no, the members. Oh no, if they see it. Oh, what's going on? And these are big things that we think about. Is like, wow, how much should we protect? And of course, when it comes to like even when you think about parents tend to overprotect. And leaders are very similar too, because we're kind of like the shepherds of a church. And we're kind of thinking way more towards the safe side than trying to find like the best way of doing it. So how much should we protect? And how much? Or are we overprotecting? And what are the dangers of overprotecting? So like issues like slander and those websites, or issues and problems, there's all these other different things. And through my experiences, there's one guideline that I've come to realize is, it is impossible and it is not healthy to shelter people from everything, right? From everything. See, our responsibility as a leader and to each other is not to protect people so much to the point that we keep them young and naive by taking away every single difficulty and every hardship from them, right? It's kind of similar, like I talked before, is like overprotecting children. Is it really good for that? Is it really good for the health of the children to overprotect them? And, we're protecting, and we think to ourselves, oh, we're protecting them for their future. But research proves that it actually backfires in the end if you overprotect. So it's like if you shelter people too much from bad things, then what happens is they become weak, because they can't handle adversity. They just never seen so much adversity. So it's almost like when you practice something, you get better and better at it. So when you practice or go through adversity, you're practicing it, you're learning how to overcome, you get better. But if you're constantly sheltered from bad things or from difficulties, then we just remain weak and we can't handle adversity because we're so used to having such small or no problems at all. So what happens is we remain in a position that is like a young kid who's been sheltered and overprotected by their parents. It's like one thing you should never do to your children is to like purposely allow them to win all the time. Like you should never allow it's like never allowing your children to lose, but always letting them win. But if you realize life itself, like you got to think about life right now. When you think about life, is life easy or hard? And the answer is, well, there's some parts that are good, some parts that are bad, this and this. Yeah, this, life is like this. Life is amazing and fun, but we also realize when we start to live life, and all of us are going through it right now, life is really difficult. It's really hard sometimes. There's so many things we face in these hard times. Like even right now, it's a pandemic. People losing their jobs, people have no money, can't feed their family, can't pay the bills, might lose their restaurants, their businesses. The uncertainty about the future is so big. These are real problems that we're facing. Life is hard. It really, really is. So if you think about it, what's it easier to do? Like, it's so easy to be bad. You just got to let yourself go and you'll be a bad person. It's so easy. Why is it hard in Providence? Because we're struggling to become good people because it's not easy to. But what we do is we kind of shelter people too much. And when we shelter people too much and we overprotect them, it's like we have to realize that life has so many more losses than wins. It's just the wins are so rewarding because of all the losses were worth it when you win in the end. Like just look at everything we've done in life, whether learning an instrument, learning a sport, a hobby, work, whatever it is. You have so many more like losses along the way before you start winning. And if we shelter people way too much, then they'll never learn how to lose. They'll never learn how to overcome these difficulties. And recently even too, Pastor Joan, when she talks to the Whitestone Church, she talks to the SS and she talks to like the campus, and she's very, very open, very transparent. And she even said to the leaders like, hey, like even when it comes to slander, the point, don't tell people not to watch it. That's not, don't tell them not to watch it. It's about educating them. Right? It's about educating them. See, educating them doesn't mean this. Hey, man, it's all lies. Like, that's not education. Right? You have to educate in detail and properly of what's out there. And they need to make their own choice. Like, we can't make the choices for people. And this is we're leaders and, even people in the SS and camp, they're being told, yeah, this is what's going on. Very transparent. And when you're transparent, people begin to trust more. Oh, this is what's really going on. So, and if you really think about it, like say slander, stuff like that, can you really keep this stuff away from people? Like everyone has internet, like you have internet access on your fingertips every moment of the day as long as your phone has batteries. Right? Even for me, when I was in New York, we've had newcomers come to service and check slander while in service. Like crazy as that sounds, that's the capability people have. Sheltering people too much. If it's overprotection, it actually makes people weak. Educating people makes them strong. And after you educate them, it's kind of like how God does stuff. How does God do it? God educates strongly and he educates constantly. And then what happens after getting educated? You go out and you have to make your own choices. Like we can't go out for every single newcomer and every new member and just like hold their hand and take them everywhere. They have to learn as they go. They really do. Like we can't do everything for them. Like I'm not saying just let them go. I'm just saying don't overprotect. Because what happens is, for me as a leader, protecting your sheep, like, oh my gosh, God gave me this responsibility, so I must take care of them. And then as a leader, I tend to overprotect instead. And, I wouldn't say everything because I was afraid that people would struggle to get tested by it. But then what happens is, what happens when we do it this way is people become naive. And the interesting thing is because we protect them from so many things, all they see is the good stuff about, what's going on in the church and Providence, and they think that Providence is a perfect place. And when you think it's a perfect place, when you have faults and you're struggling, you feel worse because everyone and everything seems so perfect. So there comes this false sense that everything is perfect except me, and then you feel even more guilty every time you sin. But, we have to realize is Providence is not like a place that's already perfect, like completely perfect. Providence is a place that is becoming perfect more and more each day, which means that what has to happen? We have to realize we are all in this together. We are all imperfect, and we are all making ourselves each and every day. And it's so funny because, I would grow up thinking this, and then when I become a leader, everyone is struggling on their own. Like they all come to me and say, I'm struggling. But it's like no one knows that other people are struggling too. But if we allow them some transparency, then not only will they trust the leadership, but on top of that, they will be able to grow and not stay weak, but go through their difficulties, go through the things they need to go through, right? We just can't, it would be really detrimental to make people think that this place is already perfect or give them a false sense that everything is perfect. So if we look at the world, the interesting thing is when you look at the world is a really harsh place, right? And bad things happen all the time. We see it on the news, at our work, whatever it is. And it doesn't affect us at all. But it's really weird because like something really small happens at church and then people get tested, they start struggling a lot. And it happens because we tend to overprotect more than anything else. So for us, my main thing is we cannot, as a leader, as myself, I can't, I have to be the ones not overprotecting. But also on the flip side is, we can't remain as children and be kept from suffering and struggling. And we should want to experience struggles. We need to learn how to lose. We need to learn how to fight. We need to learn how to overcome. Because when we struggle, then we strive to get better. And when we struggle, we work harder. And when we struggle, we put in effort and try to be better. If things are given too easily to us, then what happens is we feel that everything is easy. And then even when the smallest things happen, we just complain and grumble, oh, what do I do? What do I do? And every little problem that happens, it's so hard for us. We have to realize it's hard to be good. And we have to struggle every day to be a better person. Like I was saying before, when you let yourself go, is it easier to do good things or bad things? Well, it's easier to be lazy, and it's easier not to do the right things. It's easier not to go and pray. It's easier not to go to church. It's very easy, right? If it was really easy to be good, then we wouldn't struggle so much trying to be better and perfected people. Right? The struggle for righteousness is not easy. And we have to be the ones that when we read, like when Paul was speaking, when Paul talks about it in the scriptures, he's like, Paul even being in prison was thankful. Paul in prison was rejoicing. You got to think about that. How many of us would actually do that? Do you know that Paul he received like 40 lashes minus 1, so 39. I believe it was 5 times. Which means that he got lashes like 195 times in his life. Like he was beaten with a whip 5 times of 39 times each. And he still rejoiced. And he still loved God. He went through it. He overcame. He became stronger. Right? We don't want to create a place where people are remaining at their level. I don't want to say like weak people, but it's just remaining at that level. And then we can't handle the smallest issues. We have to realize our intent of protecting, right? And I'm talking to myself because this is my experience. My intent to protect, it actually hurts people instead because they'll never face adversity. And because of that, they'll never be strengthened to overcome even when the smallest waves and winds come. And in the end, it doesn't just hurt people, it hurts Providence in the end. So I really hope that all of us here too kind of take in that mindset that don't try to avoid every difficulty, every hardship. There's no need to. Like we have to understand is we grow from adversity. When someone asked me once, what is happiness? And I told them, what is happiness? Think about it carefully. Happiness is what? Happiness is not just being happy. But when we go through struggles and then we overcome, we're happy too. Happiness includes difficulties also. We can't have that false sense of happiness either, that everything is going to be okay and everything is fine and there's no difficulties. We have to be those that grow out of this child stage, right, as children in this history and grow up and mature. And instead of drinking, just milk, we have to start moving into solid food. And solid food requires us to chew. Liquids are easy. Food, when you're just starting, you have to start chewing. The nice steaks, you gotta chew it. Lobster, you gotta chew it. And we have to grow so that we can become those that are strong, that even when the hardest things come, we can overcome it. So that moves us into, I hope that everyone understands this, and I'm coming from my personal experience too. But I want to move this into the song of the day. And the song is going to be a cover from a singer I really enjoy listening to. This is original song is from Mario. He's an R&B singer, and the song is called "Let Me Love You." But I'm going to show you another cover from someone really interesting. His name is Teddy Swims, right? American singer and songwriter from Atlanta, Georgia. And he was a football player. He was a musical theater student, and he's the grandson of a Pentecostal pastor. And he's got this great YouTube channel, and he's just an amazing singer. And it's going to be a live band, and they're going to sing "Let Me Love You," a cover from Mario. This is Teddy Swims.
Baby, you just don't get it. Do you enjoy being hurt? I know you smell that perfume, the makeup on your shirt. You don't believe his story. You know that they're all lies. Bad as you are, you stick around, and I just don't know why. If I was your man, baby, you never worry about what I do. I'll be coming home back to you every night, doing you right. You're the kind of woman to serve everything. Wrist full of diamonds, hand full of rain. Baby, you're a star. I just wanna show you you are. You should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything you want and need. Baby, good love and protection. Make me your selection. Show you the way love's supposed to be. Baby, you should let me love you, love you, love you, love you. Yeah. Your true beauty's description is so good that it hurts. You're a dime plus 99, and it's a shame you don't even know what you're worth. Everywhere you go, they stop and stare, 'cause you're bad and it shows. From your head to your toe, out of control. Baby, you don't know. Baby, you never worry about what to do. I'll be coming home back to you every night, doing you right. You're the kind of woman, certain thing. Wrist full of diamonds, hand full of rain. Baby, you're a star. I just wanna show you you are. You should let me love you. Let me be the one to give you everything you want and need. Baby, good love and protection. Make me your selection. Show you the way love's supposed to be. Baby, you should let me love you, love you, love you. know you the way love's supposed to be. Baby, you should let me love you.
And that was Teddy Swims singing Let Me Love You. That is the Mario cover. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that song also. Make sure to put that link up for you guys. And that, because I gave you a pretty lengthy story today, there won't be a special story, but I'll do the story I was supposed to do today, and I'll do it tomorrow instead. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's podcast, and I hope that you guys can also give me some topics that you guys would like to talk about also, or if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and then I'll definitely talk about them too. So this brings us to the end of today's show. It is Tuesday, April 14th, and I hope that you guys had a wonderful time today, a deep time of thinking, and tomorrow, once again, we're going to have the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. My name is Sky. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again.
'Cause no one else will.
You have the power to make this life free and beautiful.